charges about $25. $24.90, right? Oh, this looks good. You know, you included everything in there. We're charging more than, well, no, it's kind of a little bit misleading because you're also providing 3,000 minimum gallon solids. And you got to make up that 3,000 gallons that you're giving up front. So really, the cost of the 3,000 gallons must be included in that 1716. So it's an indication that some of the increase that we need to apply needs to go to the base charge. Okay. On worksheet number 11, the next thing I do is I want to give you an example of what happens if you take no action. And if you look at the 5-year period, if you take no action and you've got all this other reserves and debt requirements, eventually in 5 years you'll be in a negative 332,000. And if you look below it, those are your current rates. And then the subsequent worksheets, it lists your expenses and your projected revenues and things like that. Going to worksheet 15. My target for the rate increase becomes at negative $332,090. And so to accomplish that, you would need to increase the base charge by $5, and you would need to increase the volume charge, which is your variable, 70 cents per 1,000 gallons.
Which one do you mean, Rob? 16 Rob?
I need,
Is this it?
yes. Thank you. So now, when you apply that target revenues and that $5 increase and the $7.70 increase, looking at worksheet number 16, you'll see that the $24.90 turns into increases to $29.90 for your residential customers, and the volume rate, which is your flow rate, will change from $3.40 to $4.10. And likewise, it continues in the same proportion through the customers outside the city limits, inside the city limits, and the commercial. The commercial inside and commercial outside. Now, if you look at the very top, you'll see that you'll have a positive surplus all the way across those 5 years. And if you look at worksheet 18, 2/3 of the way from the top down, you'll see the operating account is going to grow significantly. You'll see the short-lived assets reserve increase over the 5-year span. You'll be covering the debt service reserve over that 5-year plan and your capital repair and replacement reserve. So that is my recommendation on the rates.
Thank you, Mr. Gonzalez. Mrs. Martinez, I think you had a little bit more to put in.
Thank you, Raul. So I'm going to go over the spreadsheet that I handed out, and just keep in mind that the spreadsheet only shows what's within the corporate city limits, so it's residential, not commercial. And as far back as we could get data on was 1994, and as you can see on the top, the first 3,000 gallons was $10, 3,001 thereafter was $1.50 per 1,000. I don't know if you want me to go through each one, but as you can see, there was another base rate amendment or ordinance until 2002. So we waited 8 years before we amended our rates between 94 and 2002. In 2004, there was another amendment, and if you can see, from 1994 to 2009, from 2002 to 2009, we didn't have another base rate change, okay? It was just the volume usage that was changing. And so forth and so on. So you go from 2000 to 2013, you can see that there's a lapse there too. 2014, that was good. We had an annual rate analysis, and there was a new base rate approved. In 2016, it was raised to $24.90 for the base rate for the first 3,000. And if you compare 2014, $17.70 base rate to November 10th, 2016's base rate of $24.90, that's an increase of $7.20, a 41% increase. And if you compare November 10, 2016, which is the last one that was approved and is our current rate, it was a base rate of $24.90. And if you compare that to Mr. Gonzalez's proposed rate for the water rate, that's a difference between $32 and $24.90. It's a difference of $7.10. And that's an increase of 29%. And as you can see, if you look at the volume usage, it went up by 70 cents. The other thing that we must all realize that this water fund is an enterprise fund. What an enterprise fund, it's like a business. And that's what we all need to get the mindset of, is that because it is an enterprise fund, we need to treat this like a business. If you owned a business, would you review your fees or rates every 8 years? No. You have to review them every year because we have to make sufficient revenue to cover all of our expenditures. And I know this is a big hit to all of our taxpayers and our citizens, but if we don't review our rates on an annual basis, then we're going to lag way behind. Think about 3% inflation per year. And here we have these huge gaps where we haven't looked at the rates. So it's very important that we do them annually. Do y'all have any questions?
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Councilman Nissen.
Yes, on your spreadsheet,
Mhm.
914, you got $32
Yes.
plus $4.10 per thousand.
Right.
When you look on his spreadsheet on 16, he's only showing 29.90 and the 410. Why you have difference?
It's not $24.90?
No, 29.90 and $4.10.
He's raising the base rate $5 even. On here, it's got the $7.10 base rate here.
Right here, for your base rate. I thought you were showing $32. You're showing $29.90?
According to your sheet you just saw here, page 16. And then the catch is when you have up front, they're wanting a 3 to 4% increase, we're going 5%, which is like 20-30% increase. That doesn't quite match on page 9 with how much money we're gonna lose.
Okay, that is my mistake. It is $29.90, so there is a $5 difference between the two. I must have picked the wrong number. So thank you for catching that.
Okay, then when you look at the amount of money that you're doing at 5% on page 9, you're losing, this is back to civilian in the county, you're losing almost 8%, and you're only going up 7%. When you go back and look at $101,000 on your projected 2017, we have to go up at least 8% in order to break even. Are we going to do that with the $5 plus the $2.10?
No, not written. I don't know what the difference is now. It's a $5 difference. And what Raul is saying is that if whatever rate he's showing on his spreadsheet, which is in this case $29.90, correct? $29.90 is the base rate. That is sufficient. That is a sufficient rate to cover the debt, the capital reserve, and the short-lived assets.
Okay, then why is it say for 2017 projected, he's projecting we're gonna lose 101,000? On page 9. I just want to lose money. So I just want to get it clear, that it shows that we're losing 101,000 on his projected 2017.
Is that without any adjustment on that page 9? If we cut the current rates for 2017?
Yeah, on page 9 it's not a projection over a 5-year period like the other
So
one.
over a 1-year period
Yeah, this would be like if you were making a comparison from one year to the next.
with no changes in.
Correct.
Okay, so that's based on the $24 instead of the 29.
Correct.
Okay, makes sense. Okay.
Thank you. Good question.
I was gonna ask you, since we're putting in the new meters, isn't that gonna give us, more revenue? Since it's gonna be more,
Well, we anticipate that the new automated meters will be more accurate. We're hoping that some of the replacement of our water system will actually help us with any loss that we're having. But we cannot at this time anticipate what that will be. This is one of the last things that we do before we actually close on our USDA water grant. I believe when they did it back in 2013, right when I got here, they were anticipating only 3.5 for sewer. There was no water anticipated, and so this is the first audit that we've had where we separated the funds. But we don't know what the revenue will be and the accuracy one may be, so we'll have to wait. I anticipate that Raul and his wonderful company will come back again and to look at the rate study to see where we are and how we're going forward and how collections have been going.
So possibly with our new water meters, we may be able to stay pretty solid next year or
Some people, yes, some people are going to see, some people meters are frozen. Some people may only we have estimated readings because they are either underground or literally underwater and we can't see them, so we don't can give them an estimated bill. So the accuracy will definitely improve, and we're hoping with accuracy we'll have people to be able to charge appropriately. So somebody's meter is frozen, that they're getting water at the same amount they've been getting water for the last 5 years, and then we'll have a truth issue, but their water used to be high at that point when it was frozen. So we have no way to anticipate other than to monitor it every year, and Raul's company will come in and they have historically come in and done the really, it's pretty an in-depth type of study, almost like a little mini audit. So we're hoping that he can come back again next year and then we'll have something to compare it to.
Any other questions? Comments? Any citizens' comments?
Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Martinez.
Good evening again, Madam Mayor, council members. I have a question for the utility company in the water. And one of the needs, the operation that you have is your nonprofit. So you deliver the water free of charge. You're just covering the cost for delivery. Customer not paying for the water. You just to bring the water to their home, you add in the cost to bring the water to home.
No, there's a cost for the water as well. It is, as Helen mentioned, it is an enterprise fund, so just like a utility, no different than Phillips.
Right.
There's a cost for us to provide the service, and there's a cost for us to deliver the water.
Right.
So it's based on usage. Yes,
So
sir.
the water actually is free.
No, sir, the water is not free.
It costs me to get it to your home. So I have to charge you for that.
So the infrastructure is a cost for the city to have the infrastructure.
Sure.
The equipment and to run the system is a cost, but also the cost of the water is a cost of the water as well.
Because the city has to pay to pump it, treat it, everything else, so the city is actually charging for the water, not just for delivery of the water.
Okay. Thank you. There's some utility company that the water comes out, they say it comes from the garbage free, we only charging you for the cost of bringing it to you.
Depending the definition of what you're saying, excuse me,
Yes, sir.
oh, I'm sorry. Just depending on the definition of how you look at it, I see what you're going with it. Yes, the water is free in the ground to everybody. But in order to bring it to you, we have to charge the labor, pump, chlorine, meter fee. That's where it's at. That is a social definition.
It's also doing business.
But it's the cost of doing business that we have to charge for all of that.
Sure.
Yes, but the water is sitting under earth free, but cost of doing business is what we got.
That's exactly correct.
Yes,
Yeah.
and you even have to have a permit from TCEQ, so not everybody can just dig a hole
Yeah, but dig a
and tap
hole and get the
into
water.
it.
There's honestly, there's so many people involved with our water because we do a testing, we have a person, then we have a company we gotta send to. Then that company's gotta send it to somebody in the state. Then the federal monitors it. And that's just under testing. We got so many government fingers in it, it's just not us. It's unfortunate.
It's the cost of doing business.
The cost of doing business.
There's no way out of that.
Plus the guy's gotta be certified to run the plant,
Right.
and the tester's gotta be certified.
Class A, Class B,
Yes,
license
that's
to
correct.
operate in the water. Yeah. And leakage, something very common among municipalities, so hopefully the leakage underground won't go away immediately, but the meter problem will resolve the issue of undercharge.
The meter will help us be more accurate, but hopefully it's replacement of some of these pipes and these lines will help us with our leakage, because we're having leakage throughout our system. And so we're hoping that we can better monitor that. And that's one of the components of the USDA that we'll be doing.
There are more gallons going out of the pump station that you collect at the other end because there's no way to determine where.
Yeah, so they monitor how many gallons that we pump. And so I
Right.
just pick up the situation number, let's say we pump 50,000 gallons, okay? But I'm not selling 50,000 gallons.
No, because you don't get to the other end, or the meter is not working properly.
And so we have to be able to and I have to be able to justify that, so we'll have to do that. But I just wanted to put in note that where I come from, Illinois, you have to pay for the water, you just can't pump it at Lake Michigan.
And
Thank you
we're
very much.
also, when I started looking at this, because I was listening to Mr. Turner 2 times ago, the average city should have a 3 to 5% loss. With all of the meters that we have, and how much we collect for it, and how much he pumps, we don't really have a true cost and how much we're losing. Because if a meter's frozen, the person's getting a lot of free water. Or is it a leak in underground to an underground creek?
Yeah, so there's some illegal taps that get the water.
Well, we can't go there.
But
But this way, you'll be able to get her more numbers that you'll be able to say with our new meters, how much we're pumping and how much we're selling.
Right.
Then we can start looking for stuff.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilman Eason, and thank you, Mr. Roy. Any other citizens' comments? Okay, if not, I will entertain a motion to implement water rate increase as recommended by the water rate study, and that would be of $5 per base rate and 70 cents per thousand after that. Do I have a motion on the floor?
I'll make the motion, we accept the steady base rate of $5 and the 70 cents per thousand per gallon.
I have a motion on the floor by Councilman Nissen. Do I have a second?
And Madam Mayor, can we just clarify in the motion that's an increase? It's not 5.10 for the person, 70 cents per thousand. It's an increase over the existing.
Yes.
$5 for the base rate and 70 cents per thousand, right?
Which would be the first 3,000.
No,
Okay.
it's just 70 cents per thousand.
70 cents per thousand.
Per thousand.
70 cents per thousand.
$2.10.
That's the bulk rate out of the first 3,000.
Yes, so the first 3,000 is 410, and then after that,
That's $2.10 for 3,000 gallons that we're increasing it. According to this book, 70 cents per thousand. We have 3,000 gallons. That's 3 times 70 is 210. That is
$29.90
easier.
is the base rate, that's the minimum charge.
That's the
Anything
minimum.
After
That would
3,000,
be-
$1,001
I just need it for
is
purposes
70
of
cents per
the
thousand.
70 cents per thousand.
motion, so we can get the increase.
Okay, so let's clarify the actual motion,
Right?
since we discussed
I
it.
need to get the motion proper.
Okay, the motion of I'm clearing will be implementing
Increase of
$5
base,
base rate.
and then 70 cents per thousand,
For the volume use.
including the minimum gallons.
Okay. I have a motion on the floor by Councilman Nissen. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Silva. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. All those opposed? 3 to 1. Thank you. A lot of us look like we're voting, but we're swatting flies.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
sort of weird, like,
3-0.
3-0. I mean, no, I'm sorry, 3-1. 3-1. Okay, moving on. Thank you, Mr. Gonzalez. Thank you, Mrs. Martinez, for your help with that. Moving on to item 3D, consideration action to approve the engineering agreement with Intrepid Engineering. We have our city manager.
my vote is already.
Actually, I'll pass over to the attorney. This, you all approved at the last city council meeting to add a fourth engineering firm. I did mention at that time you bringing forth a service agreement. The city attorney has reviewed the agreement. Do you have any amendments to the agreement, Chris?
There's one very, very minor one that didn't make it into the packet here. It's location of enforcement, number 25. Exclusive venue shall be in the district courts of Wilson County. That's just for legal use, since we can't do that in municipal court. It exceeds the jurisdictional limit. But other than that, this contract, it's like our standard engineering contracts. It's terminable on 30 days notice. Every job has to have a work authorization that gets attached to it, and that'll govern the scope of the work, and the cost will all be in a separate work authorization. As part of the exhibits here, they've got some certification matters, and they've got D is probably the one that the council would be most interested in. That's the rates and services that would attach to any work authorization that the council gives to those engineers.
Okay, what was the changes it needs to say?
Just in number 25, location of
City and
enforcement,
engineer agree that the contract shall be enforceable in,
Floresville, Texas, and exclusive venue shall be in the district courts of Wilson County, Texas.
in the district courts of Wilson County.
Yes.
I was gonna ask, are we still going to go with the lowest bidder, or are we going to go with who we hire this group? Because they're local.
You all
Is that-
we decided to hire this firm. It's professional services, so we didn't bid it.
And you cannot select an engineer by lowest bidder. You have to select by what they deem as a qualified individual. And so Intrepid had previously submitted qualifications. They were reviewed at the last council meeting, and it was decided then to select them as the fourth engineer. This is just a contract to implement that at the last meeting.
But when we get to that point,
Oh, so this will
you had
be,
already said something about,
Well, we have 3 engineers already. This is, you've added the 4th. And just as a side note, the qualifications for Intrepid Action was brought before, and you all agreed on several different procurement process for several different grants. A grant that we had outstanding still for generator, and a grant we have outstanding for siren. And so this engineer was selected, and so you've already approved of their qualifications. At your last meeting, you voted to add this engineer as one that we use as services, professional services. You all have already approved. And so this is actually the actual service contract that I'm asking you to approve today.
and so when you have a project, the city manager will usually make a recommendation on which engineer to use for which project. And then council could say, no, we don't want to use Intrepid, we want to use Stantec, or we want to use one of the other ones. But usually you don't want to overburden one of the engineers with too much, so this is just a fourth one that can be spread around.
thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Any citizens' comments? Okay, no citizens' comments. I will entertain a motion to approve the engineering agreement with Intrepid Engineering. I have a motion on the floor by Councilman Johns. Do I have a second?
I'll second the motion.
I have a second by Councilman Nissen. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Thank you, 4-0. All right, moving on to item 3E, consideration action to approve the deed transfer of the land from the for the Wilson County No-Kill Animal Shelter.
Thank you, Mayor. So this is, again, similar to the last item, something that was approved at the last meeting. This is just a formal implementation of that approval. As we discussed on there, we're giving them the entirety of the land, the entire 7.611 acres, and the city is reserving the right that if it ever ceases, the Wilson County No-Kill Animal Shelter ever ceases operations upon the abandons the property, ceases to be in existence as a legal entity, seeks to sell or otherwise convey the property to another party, or seeks to use or actually use the property for purposes other than the sheltering and care of animals for the city of Floresville, Texas, then the property shall immediately revert to the city of Floresville. I believe those are the restrictions and grants as discussed at the last meeting, so this is just a legal implementation. The one thing I don't have, actually, I'm crossing with Alina to get the registered address.
Yes, and she sent her apologies. Her and quite a few volunteers have been going down to help rescue shelters in the Rockport, Port Aransas area. So they've been quite busy this week.
So great work and understandable why she couldn't get back to. So what we'll do is when we do get that, if the council approves this deed as it is with those restrictions as discussed, then that'll just be filled in, and then the mayor and the city manager can sign whenever that information is filled in, and they can be filed in the deed records.
Yes. She said it should be very soon, very, very soon. So, okay. Any questions? By the council members, Councilman Nissen?
It doesn't make a difference that we can approve it tonight?
Correct.
Okay.
Any citizens' comments? If no comments, I will entertain a motion to approve a deed transfer of the land for the Wilson County No-Kill Animal Shelter.
I would like to hold off the motion until we get Mr. Jacob Silva back
Okay,
for that vote.
okay. Should be just a moment. You can stand up and stretch your legs if you want to for just a moment. Here it comes. Here we go.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion that we accept the Wilson County No contract,
To approve the deed transfer of the
deed
land.
transfer, general warranty deed transfer.
Correct.
A second.
Seconded by Councilman Silva. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. 4-0. I think it was Councilman Silva or was it Councilman Johns? I think they got it the same time. Okay, it was Councilman Johns who seconded it. Okay, thank you all so much. Moving on to item 3F, consideration and action to approve election day voting locations set by the county elections administrator conducting the city election.
Yes, Mayor and Council. The county has combined the boxes, so for the election, the November election, it will only be one location in the city of Floresville, which will be the American Legion Hall.
Would that be for all three separate locations?
Yes. These three boxes will be for county and city.
So I'm talking about,
Yes, the city only have one location for election day. It will only be the American Legion Hall.
How about the absentee?
The absentee goes,
The early voting.
early voting will be at the same place, at the annex, where we were last year.
You mean precinct 1 is going to be over there?
No. Early voting is in one location,
Right,
just
so
like
all
it
three-
was last year,
All three boxes will be at the,
at the annex.
no, that's election day. Early voting, all of it, correct me if I'm wrong, Monica, all early voting will be taking place at the county facility.
Yes,
But anybody can go to that, and then
Yes.
on election day, all three boxes can
it
go
will
to
be at American Legion Hall.
Any questions? Did I make it more confusing?
no, I,
Yes, sir.
Louie, I don't care what you say. Can we put in this, or do we need to have an ordinance about setting up tents and all that on city property for all this?
That would be a separate ordinance that would go on there. That can be part of this motion.
It can be?
It cannot.
No.
It cannot be.
And there's no city property around those facilities.
Yes, there is. There's a basketball court. Do we own that?
Yes, the city owns the park. They call it veteran, they call it, that park, but it's actually the tennis courts in the city as well